These aren't difficult. Talked about it on defense a little bit. You box out every time on defense. Again, you need to have a goal. Try to average 3 to 5 rebounds per game and you're doing your job. For a shooting guard to not get at least 3 rebounds, they're being lazy. There's always going to be shots on long rebounds because people are taking long shots from here that will come out to this area. These are 3-point shot rebounds. This area of the court is called the garbage pit. If you box your player out, or if you're on offense, typically what do these guys do when they're on defense on the perimeter? Do you have a lot of people box you out on perimeter defense? Hardly ever. I mean, it's a very bad habit of perimeter players. You can get away with a lot. Defensive player, shot goes up, it's not even your shot. Guy looks to go here. Don't go all the way down here to get a rebound, but get your feet in the garbage pit. You'd be amazed at how many rebounds you can pick up. 4 or 5 a game. And that gives you the ability, if you know the other team secured the ball, it still gives you another 10, 15-foot head start going the other way, doesn't it? Remember, you're the secondary on defense. You're the secondary defender. Point guard's the primary defender. Get to the garbage pit, get down the court if you have to. Garbage pit is a big point of emphasis for an offensive shooting guard. It's a great place to be.
And we get him the ball, he has an open shot, he's going to go ahead and take it. That's what I want him to do. I want him to score for us.
Let's talk about free throw responsibilities. Shooting guard has to be able to shoot 80% plus from the line if you're going to be a legitimate shooting guard. Remember, we're talking about building a perfect shooting guard here, aren't we? We're not saying this is where everybody is yet, but we're saying this is where you need to get to if this is what you want to play. You need to shoot 80% from the free throw line. Will that take practice?
Yes.
Definitely. Magic Johnson, when he came into the league in the NBA, was not that great of a free throw shooter. He was okay, maybe around 70%. He got a little disillusioned with the fact that Larry Bird was shooting 90% leading league in free throw shooting every year. He found out Larry Bird was taking at least 100 free throws a day. Guess what Magic started to do?
200.
Started to do 100, 200 free throws a day. And guess what? He became one of the best free throw shooters in the league. He had a lot of pride in what he did. You have to respect the effort, right? You have to respect that effort. In one year, in fact, Larry Bird, Danny Ainge, Magic Johnson all shot over 90% from the line in one season. Who do you think Danny Ainge learned how to shoot 100 free throws a day from? They're on the same team. It's kind of contagious. Simple rules. Shooting principles don't change. You have to box out on defensive rebounds. You can't just be in a spot. Do you want to be lined up with the point guard? When you line up here, you got your big guy, you got a big guy, you got an offensive player, and you got a shooter. You need to be probably in one of these spots. Unless, again, like we talked about earlier, your coach wants you to press full court and you're there for a reason. Sometimes that occurs and that's what you do. But on defensive rebound, you want to seal off whoever the other offensive player is. And that means you get them. Interesting point about rebounding. How many players, when a shot goes up, step into the lane this way? How many of you do that? Be honest. A lot of them. And you know what confuses me? Is I never knew it was called box in. I always thought it was called box out. Does that create more space for you on the rebound? What a simple game. Think about that next time you go to a free throw rebounding situation. It's called box out, not box in. On rebounding, we talked about getting into the lane on the garbage pit, correct? For offensive boards. Everybody understand where the garbage pit is? You got the block here, all the big guys are down here fighting around. This is the garbage pit area. It's really easy to get to on offense. You pick up 3 to 5 offensive rebounds for your team in the course of a game. It could be worth at least 8 points. That's pretty valuable.
I typically look for people who try to fill the lanes. I don't want the shooting guards to hang back and try to get the ball and handle it too much. We reserve that responsibility primarily for the point guard. We're looking for a guy that's looking to get down the floor and get himself open.
On offense, you need to have the ability, if your coach gives you a green light to do this, and a point guard should give it up early so that even if you're in rhythm and you take one dribble, you can pull up from the 3. Think that's an important skill? Sure. If you're wide open on the break and the defense is in here and they're leaving all that space open, it's a great shot. You have to have the ability to do that. And you might be in a late game situation where your team needs points and the coach is screaming, get up the floor and shoot threes. How effective are you going to be if you've never practiced pulling up on the 3 for jump shots on the 3? How effective are you going to be? You can't do efficiently what you haven't practiced. So you have to have the ability to pull up for 3s. It's not your highest priority on the break, but you have to have that. You have to be a finisher on the break. What does it mean to be a finisher? Get the ball in the basket. That means if you're running the break and you've got a 2-on-1, this person passes you the ball, you have to have the ability to finish the score and or get fouled. Get to the free throw line. You ever see anybody go down a fast break, defender comes at them even though they're not in their lane. This is their lane, the defender's there. They're not in your lane to the basket. You ever see somebody miss the layup just because somebody was around them? Can't do that. That is not a finisher. That's just some guy they put on the court that was a badminton player. You have to finish the fast break. You have to finish. On defense, you have to get into the paint. You have to build your defense from the inside out. Several reasons for this. Most players aren't used to pulling up from here, so they're going to try and go all the way to the basket. If you're coming back on defense, get into the paint, build your defense from the inside out, then go find the ball. That's what you need to do. Don't try to steal the ball up here. How many times did the possession of the ball, how many times does the possession of the ball change hands? And this guy's dribbling up, and this player tries to reach in, and like we talked about, off he's gone. You can't reach in. You have to get back on defense. The other reason you want to get back on defense is if you get here first, who's trailing the play? Sure, all your teammates. You've got you and the point guard back, but you got these guys trailing the play. So even if the pass comes here, this guy's coming up behind. You're buying time for your team by getting back in the paint. You got to buy time for your team to retreat.
Good decision-making abilities in terms of when to go ahead and attack offensively and knowing when they don't have a good shot or a good move to the basket and to reverse the ball and play with the rest of the team.
Take the ball out. Does this mean you have to be a good passer? If you're going to take the ball out of bounds, you need to do 2 things. You need to keep a 5 count in your head. Someone hands you the ball, the referee hands you the ball, 1001, 1002, 1003. You get to 1004 and you don't have someone on their way, you need to learn to throw it off somebody's foot, which saves a timeout. We practice that. Our team practices that. Throw it off someone's foot because it saves you a timeout, doesn't it? Or call a timeout. Now, we all watch pro games and college games, and what's the first thing they do? Right. That's not a bad thing, but how long does it take? 3 minutes to practice once a week, day of a game, throwing it off somebody's foot? Just boom and get out of the way. Have your mom go out there. Your mom loves you. Have her go out there, practice it once a week. Get a 5 count in your head and use pass fakes. We talked about shot fakes. How important are pass fakes to free people up? Pass fakes frees the defense and it frees up the offense. You have to develop good pass fakes. Boom, or overhead passes, you have to develop good pass fakes. And it's critical for taking the ball out of bounds because it decoys what you're doing to the defense. Too many players take the ball out of bounds and they're following their guy, and what happens? Boom. Ball's on the way and the defensive player saw it, and boom. Now you got this guy coming this way. I fake this way. Defensive player steps one step that way, leans. Now I've got time to boom, 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 pass. Ball's right there. I just freed up my man. Just because I went and practiced pass fakes 3 minutes a week. Not a big deal, but a critical habit to have. Know all the options on the plays and know how long it takes you to get to them. Can't emphasize this enough.